handles his development at linebacker. I know he said that when he got told, we want you to play linebacker, he looked at his body and went, oh, Coach, I don't think this is going to work. And then I think a couple of days into camp, he's starting to realize this is going to work at 215.
Yeah, I think he's embraced it. And, at one point he was up to like 217 this summer. And the big thing for him is just keeping the weight on. He can run all day. I mean, he's got speed, like a corner or safety. And but he's got the build of a big-time SEC linebacker. So just the development, he's going to keep getting better and better every day. The more he sees, the more reps he gets. So we're all excited about, the future with him, and the present.
Right. Your predecessor was big on these hybrid-type linebackers there. And, of course, last year he had one of them, and he counted Lawrence. Now you basically got two of them out there with Lawrence and Wells.
Sure. And, the kid we had last year, I just talked to him this morning that when I was at FIU, that played the same position that Matt and Chris are playing. He's now playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I was texting with him all morning, and the two guys that play that position for us are, in the same mold that you can do different things with them coverage-wise. They can blitz, and certain times if we wanted to drop them back down a hash and play cover two with them, both of them would be able to do that as well.
Is that McKenzie? Tyron McKenzie?
No, it's Anthony Gator.
Anthony
Gator, yep. He had played corner, the previous years before I got to FIU, and then we moved him to that spot, and he's just, ideal for that, position.
It's always a trade-off, giving up bulk for speed, or always,
Sure.
because it's rare to have guys who can do both.
Right.
But is that the way the game's headed, or is that the way his team is?
Well, the big thing is so many spread offenses, and I think three of the first three games have some form of spread offense. The first two were purely spread, and so having a guy that you don't have to substitute in a 50 defensive back, or you don't have to get a 240-pound Sam linebacker or anything like that. You play this game with the same people all the time, so the offenses don't know what he's doing, what coverages are going to come, stuff like that.
Saw Zach Jackson working there at linebacker. He was one of those guys that y'all brought in as an athlete. Talk about the decision to move him to linebacker and that where he kind of fits with that.
The thing that we signed to the big athlete and, projecting they're going to be a running back or they're going to be a slot receiver, they're going to be an H in our offense, so we do a lot of movement with those guys, or, outside back or nickel back, and that's what Zach's playing. And so he's one of those guys that, he's probably 4'4", 4'5" kid, but he's 210 pounds, and he's got the frame to be 225, 230, and still be able to run. So the more he can do coverage-wise, then as he gets bigger, then we can move him inside or just leave him at that outside position, let him be a 230-pound kid out there.
Skinner made some good plays in the spring.
Sure.
What's he look like so far to you?
Look really good.
Yeah.
Really good. The biggest thing Deontay, improved on so much in the spring was his eyes. Looking at what he's supposed to be looking at, reading his keys, and making plays. The last 7 practices of the spring, when he finally got it, he was making plays all over the field. And it's just, we've been away from him for 4 months. He hasn't been reading those keys for the last 4 months, so it'll probably take him another day or two. But today out there, he was making a ton of plays. So it's just taking him a day or two, and once he gets it, he's 6'3", 240, and runs a 4'5", and is a high-character kid, intelligent kid, and, he's gonna be a good player for us.
The other day we saw Brandon May, getting after the D line a little bit, trying to line up. How good is it to have that out there? He's working with 13. He's got to move his way up.
Sure. Well, the big thing is, if you look at all three of those guys, you got Furlando, you got Brandon Wilson, you got Brandon May, and each of them at times have taken on that role. We're in a 2-minute situation yesterday, and we're in a defense that would have been okay, but Furlando on his own checked to another defense that was better and took charge, and Brandon May's done that, Furlando's done that, and I think everybody knows Brandon Wilson has those qualities about him, and continues to do that. So, but Brandon May, the biggest thing was the leadership role, and the more he is making plays and taking charge, I think it's going to be good for us.
So apparently, Brandon May's a heck of a cook. He's really good at barbecuing.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. He brought over Brandon Wilson to go over some plays and stuff before camp started. Have you heard about that? And also, what's that mean to you to know that?
Well, just know, they're always all together. Yeah. They're always together. I'll send out a mass text to, all the linebackers, all 12 of them, and 5 or 6 of them will say, yeah, Coach, we're all together. You don't need to send us the mass text because we're all here together. So just that family type bond. And, the neat thing we do when we go to the farm is each coach drives his position over. And so they had a CD already ready. They had a playlist on their iPod. and we were just blaring the music heading over to the farm. So just, those kind of things bonding together, I think are huge. And Coach Mullen always says, be around your players and, make sure it's a family atmosphere. And I think those guys have really embraced that.
What's on the playlist?
It was great music. There were two of them. I don't think I can say the name of the band in good conscience.
Were they on your iPod too?
I won't divulge that information.
So they're either dirty or it's like Spice Girls or something strange like that.
Jeff, whose idea was it to put Brandon with like the third string early, and
Well,
how confident was
sure.
it that would work with a guy that's started at an ACC school for 3
Well,
years?
the biggest thing when we go through the recruiting process with any of our guys is we're going to be completely honest with him. And ever since we started recruiting him, throughout the whole process, he's got to earn his spot. He's got to earn his way. Nothing's going to be given to him. And so when he got here, and that was the case, it wasn't a surprise. If we had recruited him, selling him the world, and you're going to come in and be the number one right away, then there'd be issues. But because we were honest and we were up front, he comes in and he proves his value and makes all the plays and is a leader. And then, whenever the right time is the right time.
Could you foresee both Brandons being on the field at the same time? Do they both have the skills to play other positions?
Sure. The nice thing is, since we said all along is that, I expect there to be 6 guys in that room that can play in SEC ball games and help us win SEC football games. And they all know every position. Like today we had Cam Lawrence playing at Sam. We had Jamie playing Sam and Will, so we'll move guys in and out. And, Deontay played, or Chris Hughes played Will today some. So just the commingling of all the different positions, the best 3, the best 6, are going to play, and then hopefully another 2 on special teams.
If you're going to play a hybrid type guy, would you rather they come to school as a career linebacker or start out in college at safety, have that experience, then go up there, or is there an ideal either way?
I don't know if there's an ideal. I went to my first day in college, I was a corner. Believe it or not, there, Joe. I went as a corner, and then they moved me to linebacker, and then moved me to safety, and then I've started my last 2 years at linebacker. So just, every kid, comes in as, the progression is different, and
But they will have, at least they'll have coverage skills that maybe a linebacker
Absolutely.
would not have had.
Right.
Vice versa, they might not have the
Sure.
run stopping skills.
Right.
So, but which would you rather have, experience at coverage or experience at run?
probably experience coverage, and then they can bulk up, and once they get with Coach Bayless, they all turn into Greek gods that are tough as nails. So it's it's a win-win for everybody.
Was today your first visit to South Farm?
It was my first visit to the farm. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah. Is it hotter out there? They always say it's hotter on the farm somehow.
Was that,
It's south of here, that's why.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Great experience. It was a little warm. I'd been wearing one of those dry fit shirts the other day. I messed up and wore a cotton one. And it didn't. It captured a little more heat than the other ones. So.
After having got more individual work with the sports block practice the last couple of
Sure.
days, could you see a benefit from that when everybody came back together today?
Right. You look around and the first 2 days were kind of an NFL practice, and the day when Coach Mullen was talking to the team, like it was weird to see another 105, however many kids were, 105 kids, out there running around doing things. And the nice thing about the way we structure practice, every kid's working all the time. So even though it was a split practice the last 2 days, when we get all back together, everybody's still working constantly. There's nobody just standing around.
What kind of linebackers are you recruiting size-wise from now on? You want to stick with this kind of idea, or just you think the game may adjust because
Well, I
you
mean,
steps play the Alabamas
sure.
and others have power rushing games.
Yeah, I think every year, if you could take, in a perfect world, you would take, a hybrid type body, a Mike linebacker type body that could play downhill and be a thumper, and then another guy who really could fit either mold. Put him in a wheel backer and just let him run. If it's a Deontay Skinner, 6'3", 240 at the wheel's fine. If it's a Cam Lawrence, 6'1", 220, it's fine. And so just, if in an ideal world, you'd have those 3 types.